Yes, Javier, good morning. And this is almost the end of the year. We are here on New Year Eve, and we'll be doing some recap of what we have been able to cover throughout the year. And we are here, we have some of our staff here, but due to network difficulties, Karin and Mary will be joining us on the phone line. And Gillette, she's from reporting from Douala, and sometimes she'll be in and out. And the network is really not the best at this time, but we'll try to that you bear with us as we come close to the end of the year. Uh, 2024, we'll be looking at some of our successes, stories, our challenges, what we have been able to do, the impact that Gaza Media has provided to the community, especially to the BLM community, that will focus most of our reporting and other investigating story in that BLM division. Uh, Again, we want to thank all of you, our audience, for always listening to us, for always paying attention to our news story, trusting us, especially those that hire us for compensatory to do that. But before I begin my New Year thank you message, I would like to, I would like Gillette, who is here with me, to Gillette to maybe give what is it that you've been planning for the new year, or maybe your opening statement. And yeah, over to you.
Thank you thank you so much, Ernest. Yeah, you rightly said that we're already at the end of the year. Today is December 31st, and it's the last day of this particular year, 2024. And of course, over the year, Gaza Media as a team, we have been able to cover a lot of stories, just as you have said. And today, we are going to be looking at those stories and the major impact that those stories have created in the community. So on my own part, it's true I've covered not too much, with our young reporters in the field. I could not be going out there to really dig into the stories or also cover a lot of events because they are still very young and agile. So I had to give them the opportunity to explore and, of course, to really come out to bring out their talents. So as for me, I took interest in the story of, I did a documentary on Professor Ndemanu Michael, who is a professor of multicultural education. So what really marveled me in his work is the fact that he focuses his research on transformative education. You know, his research is more of looking at how we can maximize learning outcomes. You know, people should not just go to school, as he says, to acquire knowledge just for your own personal benefit or for the benefit of your family, but we should go a little bit deeper to look at how we can use knowledge to impart or to solve societal problems. So it's more of competence-based approach. I think that with that reporting that I did, it has kind of caused.
We lost the line from Gillette. Yeah, let me turn over to a reporter from Boya so that you introduce yourself first. Karin, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can get you clearly.
Okay. So now, in your own area, what have you, or in briefly, summary, what has been your successes throughout the year?
For me, my successes has been enormous. The year has been one of diverse experiences for me as a reporter, and it has been a significant development for areas where I have covered events. We are looking at Fontaine and Chang and beyond. as a reporter, I've been able, I have the privilege of covering a variety of events in those areas which have come with challenges and progress within these regions.
Yes, and Mary, I know you are still a student to graduate uh, come January. That is maybe 2 weeks from now. Learning, started reporting, facing real life experience while doing your internship. So, how has it been with you?
Um, so similar to Karin, I think I've achieved quite a lot. If I want to look at when I just joined GASA Media and reflecting on the stories I've reported on, we noticed that all these stories are diverse across Yaoundé, Douala, Boya, and Kumba. And I've gained a lot of experiences traveling to these different places, which I've not had before, because each of these visits to these different towns were my first visits. And each of these stories I've covered offered insights into the life challenges within these distinct urban centers. And as a reporter, I've had the opportunity to witness a range of events and report on them, resulting to me learning quite a lot.
Yes, thank you. Yes, please stand by. As for Gaza Media, as a grassroots community news outlet, that we depend so much on community support, and we have received enormous amount of support from our community. But I think at this moment, I would really want to call this name out. Somebody who has stood with Gaza Media. Dear viewers, sometime when you see our production, there's a very important person that work behind the scene in terms of consulting, advising us, guiding us how to present news and story in such a way that it is fair and balanced. And I cannot thank Professor John Kemji enough for his support to Gaza Media. Sometimes I will call him by midnight to look at some of the script that we went to report to make sure that the language and all the technicality reflect our community which we are reporting on. So that is something that I have never really mentioned his name here on air, but I think Professor John Kemsi, something that if we were to say give him an award, which we are so small that we cannot even do, I think he has done an outstanding job. I think last year he traveled to Cameroon. He went right to our small office in Boya and provided some workshop training to those students who were training with Gaza Media at that time. I would also like to at least mention this organization that has been able to patronize Gaza Media in terms of coverages, especially exposing the BLM culture, tradition, food, and what have you. I'm referring to LEGDA USA, the BLM Culture and Development Association here in the US. I'm referring to the Kudu, Leban Cultural Association or Organization. I'm referring to ECA, which is Esota. You also have Mwabeto, which we have extensively covered some of their activities as well. Then you also have some village association like NJA, before Lekong, that have really patronized our work, and many other small businesses that we have been able to report to over the year, like Inteka the Medical Center, which used to be in Teka Lab. We are also referring to A&M Shopping and A&M Multi-Purpose Convention Center located in Boya, which you can also use their services, and at least and many other private families events that connect family. And that's one of the things that Gaza Media really does is covering some of these funerals or some of the life celebration, like birthday, like death celebration, connecting families together, family that are in the diaspora, say in Europe and in the US, that they are not able to travel home. So they have the opportunity to see those family members or to see the way it's done. And Karin, you have covered most of these, some of these funeral and and death celebration that people sit here in the US, they watch, they feel connected. So how has that journey been with you?
Thank you very much, sir. So the journey of me covering weddings, funerals, and anniversaries and other community events has provided a lot of intimate view of the community's dynamics. This these various events has demonstrated the resilience of traditional values since we are mostly the Bangwa Libialem people. So it has really demonstrated the resilience of their traditional values and the importance of communal support in times of both celebration and grief. We can always see this in terms of the population that comes up when it's time to celebrate with a particular family or when it's time to grieve for a particular family. You can get an example from the recent life celebration I covered at the BGS Muliko, the celebration of life of four brothers who passed on years ago, and the family came together to celebrate them on the recently. You could see the turnout of the population that were there to grieve, to mourn with the family. And each of this story has painted a picture of a society that values connection and collective responsibility, even amid the challenges that's going on in the Northwest and Southwest regions.
Yes, also, yes, thank you, Karen, for that brief summary. Mary, you too, you have kind of begin to engage sometime in area or like in some of the community that you are not very familiar with, but you are able to be well received and have a good rapport with most of these people. I do get comment from many of these families. So how has your reception or interacting with people that you are meeting them for the very first time? Somebody, I will just probably give a phone call or a phone number to you to contact somebody in the first time. How has the atmosphere, the hospitality be with you in most of these events?
Thank you very much, sir. I think for me, the Bangla people are very welcoming, and the way they have welcomed me and the way I've interacted with them, they are willing to let me take a video of them without shying away. Although I faced some challenges in getting them to grant interviews, but then most of times they always accept. And allocating myself with the unfamiliar environment, there's this method I always use, which is calling the person who has hired me to come and cover their event. And that has helped a lot in navigating myself through locating the location. Like, for example, the recent meeting I covered in Yaoundé, which was on Sunday, the 29th of December 2024. That was in an area where I'm not familiar with, and I was able to locate myself within that area without getting lost. And it was encouraging to try and go to more places.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I think Mary is referring to because the Lokudu Yaoundé brands just have their end of year meeting or end of year section. I think that was last Sunday that she's referring to. That production is still in the process. We'll have some challenges because most of the things were discussed in the way language, and Mary is not from the BLM, so we'll have to work a little bit more on that. So we just plead with our audience, especially the president from the outgoing president for the and members of Lokudu Yaoundé to bear with us that we'll be working on that production. And I'm back here in the US, and one of the things that Gaza Media have also successfully done is to reach to the community, not just in the BLM, but the community here in the US, especially during Black History Month or some of the minority here in the US who are also kind of underprivileged to some media to some big media outlet, like during the Black History Month, where we were able to report on the medical emergency service, which we learn through other reporting that the EMS, the ambulance that we see today in the US, was first introduced by a black man with his team in the Freedom House in Pittsburgh. And that Freedom House, they have a van that was initially meant to distribute food to those underserved community. But in course of doing that, he thought that if they could distribute food, why can they not also devise a way to also serve the people in medical, if somebody is sick, that they can come or that they can bring medicine or do some kind of first aid revival in that community, and that led to the creation of the ambulance that we see today. So that was something very useful. That no matter the color of your skin, no matter your religious background, if you have a potential, you can always go to higher height. And I also take that opportunity to even to our young staff that even though you face challenges, but that should not limit what you can do. And also, one of the things that we have been able to cover in here is some of the hair event, like here in West Virginia, Harlington, where I'm resident, which were always hired by the Minority Health Initiative to really expose some of the kind of activities that they are doing in their own community. So when we cover this, some other community could see it and maybe adopt that model to also help bring healthcare to their own community, like the Kudu seems to be doing with the medical outreach in the bank. And lastly, also we have been able to really touch some of the graduation, including myself, my own graduation, that of Gillette, our manager, and many other graduation like that of Dr. Achenjan Monfort, that of Mr. Fonkwe, I think Fonkwe Francis, and that of Dr. Moses Akosombo, and many other graduation that we were able to cover for the minority. And one of the goal that we Gaza Media thing was that throughout those kind of coverage, those success, black student, minority student in the place of America excelling in education will serve as a role model to many other young African, Cameroonian, the BLM people here in the US to see that they can also thrive despite the challenges that they may face in terms of injustice, inequality, or racism. So I think that's one thing that we have been able to do. Karin, coming back to you, one of the story that really sent a lot of wave was the visit of the Bishop of Manfred Diocese, Most Reverend Adocius A. Fondon, to Esauta, and later on now to other part of the BLM. But I think the one of Esauta was the most viewed and welcome. So, will you mind sharing your experience with how the thing went by, how you travel to Esauta, how you uncover some of those stories?
Again, thank you very much, sir. The pastoral visit of His Lordship Bishop Aloysius Fondom to in St. Chen Parish, that's a salt Fondom, was a one of it was a journey of experience for me because I've never been to a Zanchen. That was my first ever time to travel to a Salta Fondom. And the routes were not the best, but I navigated with the help of Dr. Fomi, that's the secretary of ECA, Salta Culture and Development Association. With his help, he being a son of the soil of that area, he helped in me navigating throughout my journey. He educated me on so many things in Zanchen. We are looking at schools, we are looking at hospitals, we are looking at routes, and coming down to the bishop's pastoral visit to Nzanchen, we're looking at the visit as a platform where it addressed social and moral concerns in the community. It was beyond religious significance. It also strengthened the bond between the church and its congregation. This can be seen this can be seen when you look at the faces of the parishioners that came to welcome their bishop. You could see the dancing of traditional dances, the smiles in their faces during mass, and you could feel within you or think or see that the bond between them has been strengthened with the church. And again, it also fostered unity and made this community to share a particular vision. He also underscored the church's role in not just being a spiritual leader, but also a catalyst for social cohesion. Because with the coming of the bishop to Nzanchen Parish, Christians from other small Christian communities under Nzanchen Parish came to welcome their bishop, and there was some little kind of development. We're looking at clearing of the roads, and little by little, life came back to Nzanchen, and people from the interviews I gathered from the chief, one of the chiefs, he mentioned that people should come back to Nzanchen because life is slowly coming back. Though their schools are not functional, though the government school is not functional, but they have a private school where their kids can attend and have education that they can compete in the job market tomorrow.
Yes, thank you, Karin. Yes, and Nogiles is now on the line, on the phone line because of internet issue or connectivities issue. I think that's one of the things that the impact that Gaza Media was able to bring some of those images to really, because over time they have seemed to paint the BLM as a red zone and a go-no zone. So when the first images of the bishop to a Salter came out, it was a mind blowing that the number of the population that we saw down there, the kind of activity that people seem to be living their normal daily life. You could see neighborhood, you could see, I mean, even though they came from different villages to converge in Wenchen, but you could see the community in Wenchen, even though, yes, some of the school and were not functioning the way, but it wasn't the way that we thought it was. Typically, every place was deserted, it was a forest. And Karen, I think according to your report, you said few people came from Chang or from, say, from town to Nzenchen to receive the bishop, which means that majority of the population that we saw there were resident in the village. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're very correct.
Yes. Gillette, are you there? Gillette?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I know we have reported on this issue of the BLM being a red zone, and I think at one point you were saying, I think you were even asking our honorable parliamentarian that you think they sometimes will over exaggerate that the BLM is a no-go zone. Meanwhile, people are living there kind of on their normal activity. Do you have anything to throw to what Karin just said?
Exactly, Dr. Ennis. The reason why I was trying to make a point with the parliamentarian, with the fact that those who have taken contracts and they have not been able to realize it, giving excuses of the fact that Leban or BLM is the no-go zone, that particular excuse should not be taken into consideration because from the events that we have covered there, from the different events that we have covered there, as you have heard from Karin herself, that she went right down there on the field, you will see that the population, there are people that are living there, they are living their normal lives, everything is going on normally. So which means if somebody took a contract, it would just be normal to execute the contract from the beginning till the completion. Because I don't seem to see how, if somebody won a contract, maybe to construct like
the council hall, like the tap, the public tap, I don't seem to see any reason why people will come after the person and maybe try to hurt the person, because it is for the well-being of the community. If you don't have roads and somebody is coming to repair roads, it will be a thing of great joy to you to know that that road, I am the first beneficiary. It's not going to be the state. It's going to help me maybe to transport my goods to the market or so and so on. Just like tap water and health facilities, those are the common amenities that are for the well-being of those that are residing there. So there is no excuse, as we put it to the parliamentarian, as we are putting it to the mayor, that there is anybody who is taking excuse as per the fact that the BLM is a no zone should not actually be listened to, because life is beginning to get back to normal there. And I mean, our colleagues have shown this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Gide. And that's exactly true. That brings us to this topic of, say, investigating, reporting, that we have been doing, that people seem, well, a little bit new. We used to also hold our community leaders accountable, and even when we are asking the mayor or the mayor executive and any other official or any person in position of leadership, that what have you been really doing, or do you know about this project, or even if money is coming from, say, some fundraising, like many convention that I mentioned earlier, that they do hire us, which is quite true, but they do a lot of fundraising. We promote them, we encourage people to donate money to them, but we also think that it is still our responsibility from Gaza Media to really ask these leaders, the CEO, the president of different village association and funding association and LEGDA itself, to really explain to us what they are doing with the fundraising. So that is a check and balance. And we think that they should come forward. If you are any funding president listening to Gaza Media right now, if you are the president of any village association from the BLM and you are listening to Gaza Media right now, we are inviting you to come on here and explain to the public how much money you have been able to raise over the year and what project have you been able to accomplish with that money. The public need to know this information. It is a duty on your part to explain that, because otherwise there's no reason for you to come and send out flyer, putting out invitation for people to come and donate money. Likewise, if the government gives money to the council executive to carry on project, it is the responsibility for the community or the responsibility for the mayor and the council executive to explain to the community that this is the money that we have received from the government, and these are the plan, these are the project that they have asked us to execute, and we have given those contracts to these contractors to execute those projects. It is not something that the mayor will sit on the document and will refuse to share it. It is the responsibility of those council executives to release those information to the public. And I will also encourage the local population to also participate in whatever is going on in their own community. And I think in that way, uh, the community will be able to drive in a more sustainable way. We'll see rapid development. People will have access to clean and potable water, which will lead to the elimination of some of the most common preventable, transmissible diseases like the waterborne disease like typhoid, cholera, and etc. So if people have electricity, they will be able to maybe carry on live a decent life where you can charge your phone, you can watch TV, and why not even industrial setting where people can have planning, sawmill or welding workshop that can boost economic development. So that there's much that the council can do to actually drive economy, to actually drive the community grow socio-economically. So we think they are listening to us. Yes, Gillette, before the line disrupted, you were mentioning on some of the things that you cover. Yeah, one of the things that I think that was very that stood out was the artifact, the returns of the artifact to Lebanon, which has been a global discussion, starting with reparation of what the European, the Western, did to the African. They started by the slave trade, taking people forcefully out of their land. Then, in course of doing that, they also took a lot of artifacts, sculptures, different piece of art work that were so dear to the Africans to the Western Museum, and they have made a ton of income from this museum, and they seem to think that they own it. And some of the argument has even been that it has been in the Western culture or in the Western Museum for too long that they think that they now own it. But I think the battle now is that they should return or reparation, or they should return those artifacts back to Africa. Get it? You were in Yaoundé when you saw those artifacts, and they said those were not even true. What do you make of all that story?
Exactly, Director. Those artifacts are of very great importance and great significance, especially to Africans, especially to the Bangwa community. It really amazed me to be able to know that, I mean, people who are not even of the Bangwa community were able to identify those amongst others. And they were able to identify and know that these particular artifacts should belong to the Bangwa community. You know, those artifacts are not just mere images, they really signify a whole lot. And these communities, these African communities, they hold this object so dear in their hearts. Just as the fund on that, they made mention that they are used for cleansing, for spiritual purposes, for protection, and they even bring peace to the land. And you, just as Karen was narrating how she did a lot of coverages from Lebanon, in Lebialem out there, who knows, maybe peace is returning to Lebialem thanks to the returns of those few artifacts. So this is just to show the importance that these communities or these people, the Bangwa people, the African people, they really lay on these artifacts. I mean, the joy that was on the faces of the people, the Bangwa community on that day could already tell it all. I mean, even the fund himself said it joyfully that the dance that the traditional dance performs it out of his fandom, called him Kweda. He authorized that that dance should be performed out of his fandom on that day just to show the joy that was in his mind, because this is actually like bringing back, it's like you are living somewhere and your shadow is somewhere else. So that is what I tried to make out of it. I saw that those artifacts were, the missing artifacts were really like being a whole lot of worry in the minds of the people of that particular community. So them coming back, I asked the question, what about the others that are still in the Western museums? They say they are still writing restitution letters so as to be able to gain them back. I just hope that our reporting is going to go a long way to reach out to the ears of those who ever have those artifacts in their museums, to begin to send them back to their rightful owner. Thank you, Director.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Gillette, for that wonderful reporting. Yes, yeah, Gillette, we are talking about people returning back home to their community that they have been, this war has really tortured a lot of people. People are displaced, people are internally, people live, when you go out of your niche, as I say, when you take a fish out of water, it can't survive. It becomes very challenging. Now, people are returning to their home that has been dilapidated. One of the things that begin to come in mind is if people fall sick, where would they go? Because this is one of the first things that people need in the community. That if you are not there, or if something happened,
ensure that the people are, they are safe, they are secure, they have these basic amenities out there, those that really want to go back to the village. You see them organizing health campaigns, giving free health information to educate the people how to stay healthy, offering free medical attention to the population. I think this is a whole lot, and it is just a call to me to reach out to those in the community. If you are a Bangwa person and you don't belong to any of those organizations like Lekudo, to support your own people so that when they go back home, they can be able to have live a comfortable life, have basic like electricity, pipe-borne water, health facilities, as we are saying, then you do not like your people. So when I see some of those pictures, it really gives me a lot of joy and assurance that indeed our people have the interest of the population or the community at heart. So all I can say is that we can jointly, or the community can jointly do something, because somebody may really want to go back to the village or to the homeland and live there, but then some of these basic amenities may be a handicap. So just as you made mention that people, different communities are raising funds as in conventions with the goal of going back to the homeland and install some of these facilities. And our role as a media is to follow them up and make sure that if they collect funds from whoever, from the population, they should be accountable to it. They should make sure that, because one thing is to collect funds, director, and one thing is to put it into effective use. And the only thing that can make people to continue to contribute is when they see that the funds are being used for the right purpose. So we can only, as a media, continue to shine the light so that if we say we are collecting funds for this particular purpose, then it should be destined for that particular purpose. And even those that are supposed to work in those health centers, we are equally sending out a message that
If you have been recruited and you're receiving money or a wage or a salary for that particular service, then you have to go back there because the structures could still be there. And those that are working, if they are not there, then we miss the point. People cannot go to the health center and the health experts are not there to serve them. So it's a whole plea to the entire community that we all have a role to play. We as a media, we are sending out the message out. People in the community, you can go there, these health centers, don't allow them to fall. You can clear the environment and make sure that the building is safe and secure while others are struggling. We are one another's strength. See, five fingers are never the same. One person is doing this, the other person is doing the other, and together we can be able to build a wonderful community. Thank you, Professor.
Yes, thank you, Gillette. Yeah, and that is quite true for that wonderful summary report about the health facility, the important, and what we as a community and those government agents that have been sent there as worker to go back and fill in those positions rather than staying elsewhere and receiving salary. And we as a government or we as a community need to engage. I think the challenge moving forward to 2025 for those community leaders is to effectively be transparent and open transparent to the community that they are collecting money for to show us exactly what they are doing. And like we said, our network is always open. It is same. Talking about the challenges that our community is facing. Yes, Mary. Now you covering a lot of event with the BLM community, which kind of have a little bit of a language barrier, where sometimes most of the cultural activities, even some of the meeting are discussed in Nwe language, which you are not familiar with. How is that moving forward? How do you think you kind of overcome that kind of challenge? I know for sure it is already a challenge, but how will you be able to overcome that kind of challenge?
So, I think with the advancement in technology, not only that, my colleague, she's from Libya and my boss is from Libya. So it's very easy for me to send them the video, the footages, for them to help me and translate before I work on my script. Like the recent the recent coverage I did in Yaoundé, and everything was spoken in the Nue language, which was very challenging for me because I had to record everything that was being said in the meeting so that I will be able to translate it when I return to Boya and not miss any important information. So I think this method I've adopted, I will continue with it unless I discover another method that is going to be much more better. As it is, technology keeps on advancing and anything is possible.
Yes, thank you, Mary, for that wonderful response. I hope we'll do our best to help you succeed in your career as a journalist. And yeah, even to our dear viewer, too, if our reporter comes to you, feel very comfortable to speak either in way, in pidgin or in English. You are not allowed to speak in any of the language because if someone may ask you a question in English, you think that you must speak in English. Speak with a tongue that you are very comfortable with. Karim, now you have faced challenges following up a report. Like when you cover event, now following monitoring those events. Say for example, if you went to the village to Chang, you cover the health campaign. You've been to the village again, you cover the bishop tour, the front tour to the palace, to school and different things. Following up different communities from that same area, say Boya or Limbe, it's been a challenge to you. I want to hear from you. How are you going to overcome, say, for example, people in Boya may not even know the impact that those at home or the kind of work that the kudu is doing. In terms of sensitization, you go and cover the vein, you come back, you want to do a follow up. That has been a challenge to you for sure. How are you going to overcome it?
Thank you very much again, sir. So, like you started, the year is coming to an end, and I've set out resolutions concerning my job. So, the first way for me to overcome that challenge is by sharing the contents of my reports on my status site. By that is going to attract viewership, and as well sending it to family groups where I belong, the BLM groups that concern my family where I am in, and to tackle the aspect of me sharing that content. It's to sensitize the Bangwa people who are out of Fontem subdivision that this is actually what is going on back home. And to tackle the aspect of me not being able to follow up major events after coverage, and in turn to use Madame Gillet's advice. She advised us once to tackle days that Lekudu holds their meeting in Boya. Though we have not been able to get that right, but I in turn to take notes of every meeting day of Lekudu and meet them and ask follow-up questions. Because if we are looking at meeting them in their houses, especially on work days, it's really challenging. I remember the last time I went out for a follow-up questions with the BLM people, and some snubbed. I went out and I got one person who later gave me contacts of other persons, and I called them asking for an interview on a particular topic, and they snubbed. Some said they're out of town, some said they are going to work. So it's only for me to target their meeting days. Any meeting day where they rally together, that's when I can be able to ask questions concerning my subject matter.
But
Thank you very much.
yes, but Karin, don't you think, for example, you cover so many events? I think the Southwest, the Southwest Fun Festival, the Southwest Cultural Festival, Cultural Revival Festival. Sorry, for not recording the name easily. Where the funds of the BLM were there, they were chief, they were different dignitary, they were different personality. There were a lot of people. That's that you have so many avenues. Just this weekend, you were in Boya covering the live celebration of Pajo Wonders and his brothers. You meet a lot of people on Sunday. You meet a lot of people. It's not just say particular to the Kudu, which is very limited, because the Kudu is a very small proportion of the BLM people. But there are many events where you have the opportunity to contact people. Don't you think that would be an avenue where you could maybe even ask some people some kind of follow up questions and say, hey, when you hear that there's no health center, say in the entire Fontaine South Division, from Lebang all the way in Jobwi and Esota, what do they make of that? Is that not a possibility?
It's a very great possibility, sir. I will take that into consideration. That's actually would be a very good initiative for me. And thank you for for giving me the insights on how I could get the BLM people to ask follow-up questions. That would be one of the ways in which I'm going to follow up my questions come 2025.
Okay, thank you. I think one of the challenges that we have faced over time is in the issue of staffing because of the training that we provide and the standard that Gaza Media hold. It appears like we have faced challenging with staffing. And what do you make of that? Does it mean that the training that Gaza Media is providing, or the standard that we hold all our staff to, is it too high that there's so much pressure requesting them to do things in order, or what do you think the problem might be?
That is a tough one. Having challenges in the area of staffing, it's just a normal scenario like in any other organization. If you question any other organization, they will also have that particular problem. People want to walk in and out of the organization any day, anytime. Why? Because the youth of today, they have it in mind that they can only find greener pastures somewhere. When they are somewhere, they think that it is somewhere else that is better. I even carried out my research on the role of recruitment in the growth of institution. That was my area of study, my area of research. And believe me, my findings really prove this right. That the younger generation, the younger staff, when they are recruited, they tend to, because they are still so young and agile, they want to try different options. They are here. They want to be there. They want to be there because they are so anxious and they want to explore the environment. They want to test this. They want to test that. And by so doing, they can't be stable on one particular position, except those that are really, there are exceptions for every case. There are some that are level-headed and they can really pick up a job and they can take their time to follow instructions the way they give them, to grow, take time to really understand what the needs of the job, so that they can be able to exercise and grow in that particular job. But most of them, out of 100, you can only have like 10% of the youths that can do like that. So according to my research, those of the later age from 29, between 29 and 39, those are the people that have explored the different options and they have decided that yes, I can settle for this. And those are the category of people that are level-headed and they can really pay attention to their job, knowing that this is what I'm going to do for my career. They put in all their interest, they put in all their best and want to really excel in their career. So I wouldn't blame us, the managers of GASA Media, and I wouldn't blame us for recruiting them and trying to guide and take them and giving them the directives on how to succeed in their career. If you bring a horse to a stream, you cannot force the horse to drink water. You can see those that are attentive to information. Karin and Mary, you can see the great job that they are doing. And if they continue with us, I believe that the sky is going to be their limit. We are still open anyway. And the young graduates from school that have chosen the area of journalism, we are open. We give them opportunity to come and do internship with us. And we are there to mold them. We are there to guide them to excel in their career. So this is just the little I can give. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, because again, because I'm sometimes I sit back and say maybe are we giving so much training? Are we asking them to do more than they can? But at the same time, when you look at the media landscape, yes, at the same time, but when you look at the media landscape, you see that you are just doing what a media is supposed to do. But is it because that maybe, like you said, they are not yet maybe fully committed, and I hope they are listening, especially the staff that are here and any other young graduate out there. I know by 11th of January of 2027, they'll be graduating. Many of them will be graduating from mass communication and journalism, JMC from the University of Boya, and they'll meet all those other in the job market. But like I said, uh, I mean, if you cannot write a script and present it, there's no way around it. You have to learn it. You have to practice. You have to commit. Yeah, Gide, thank you for that. Gide, one other challenge that we have also faced is in the area of maybe different people in the community patronizing our services. They get often confused and think that maybe we are videographers, with a camera, or I don't really maybe how to put it forward. But we are media. Sometimes they call it TV station. But this is an online digital media that our reporting, is it that what we are doing is totally different that people seem not to understand, or why are they so confused between Gaza media, or what we are doing that maybe it seems very challenging for them to grab it, or is it just because they don't want to pay for the services that they are receiving?
Not at all, not at all, Director. What I can make of it is that with time, they are going to understand what we are doing, and they are going to get used to it. It is just something new that they are witnessing, and they don't yet know, if I can put it that way. So with constant education, sensitization, I think that they'll be able to get it right. Like, for example, if I can just put an example, there are certain people that when they used to plan their events, something like the media never used to cross their minds. They just go ahead, the budget on drinks, the budget on food, the budget on other things, other logistics, keeping aside the media. But with our services that we are doing, we cover a lot of events, from funerals to weddings to graduation ceremonies. And people are now beginning to understand that if you are planning an event, it will be very, very important. The first thing you should think about is media coverage, because that is what is going to keep memories of whatever you're going to do out there. People will eat, they drink, after that they go away. And after that, what do you look at? If you take a photographer, just as you say, they will take those images will fade off, they will get bad, and media, we do cover and put it on our YouTube channel. It can last there for as long as you can think of it. Even the generation yet unborn can still come and they still have access to that information. So to me, it's just if I say ignorant, it's not as if I am being insultive. No, it's just an English word. Somebody who doesn't yet have knowledge of something, you can say the person is ignorant of
Yeah, I get.
ignorant.
Mhm.
Yes, and then with time, they are going to understand. I can remember when I was doing a coverage in Yaoundé, and somebody stopped me and said, "Hey, a photographer, snap me." I was like, I turned and looked at the person and said, "Photographer? I am not a photographer, please." I work with the media. And he was like, he didn't understand why I should be taking images, and I'm telling him that he even told me that I'm going to pay you money. I'm asking you to snap me, I'll pay you money, and you are refusing to snap me. I say, hello, I am not a photographer. So you see some of those things, it's just to constantly educate the people, and they will know the differences between a videographer that will come to your event and take images, videos, long videos of whatever will transpire in the event for the whole day. And with GASA Media, we are very unique in our services. With an event that can last for 4 days, we are able to cover it, and then we are able to report on it within 20-25 minutes. We give you a full of whatever transpired in that event and put it in our YouTube channel, so much so that you can be able to send this information to whichever part of the world you want to within the shortest possible time, so much so that people can be able to access it easily. So with time, people are going to get used to our service, Director. Thank you.
Yes, and I think that's true. I think you touch everything. I think even now, sometimes people will request for maybe their last 3 year coverage. I mean, it would just be a matter of a second for me to just go down, use a search engine word, and just get that link and just forward to them, which they can still enjoy it. And I think one of the key things that you said was that an event that lasts an event can last for 2 days. We will be able to compress it to about 20 minutes. And I think that is very, very important, that people understand some of these services. Like we are talking about the Southwest Cultural Festival that took place in Boya a couple of weeks ago. I mean, that was an event for 3 days. You have the planification meeting by the funds of the BLM. You have day one of the cultural event. You have day two. All of that was covered. But I mean, if we're talking of 3 days, we're talking of 72 hours. But not all of that entire event was compressed to, I think, it were like 10 minutes total of about 20 to 25, 30 minutes, which everyone now was able to really see the graph of what we're able to do. Without which, without the media, dear viewers, the BLM will be lacking behind in many aspects. And again, I want to say this with a lot of pride on behalf of Gaza Media, that I think the work that we have done, people have make certain recommendation is enormous, that we have been able to put the BLM on the land map. Imagine, say, the bishop will go and visit the entire region, that then it will never be reported. Nobody will ever knew about it. The funds of the BLM will go to Boya and display the way they did. We will not have images. Nobody will know about it.
Exactly.
Yes, and a chunk of Liberian people are now resident in the US. They won't be able to see what is happening. There's a lot of cultural activities that take place in the US. People at home will not be able to see about it. There's more to. I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, look at the bank road project that they did. I think it's something that Gaza media play an important role by showing the contribution from different regional meetings. Like Karin was in Boya, I think Fred went to Chang, cover it. So when other people see all of this happening, they became motivated. As the CEO, the current CEO, Ben Fomika of Lokudu USA said, if we are doing all this work and nobody is reporting on it, people will not be willing, or people will not be motivated to contribute. And I think I want to thank our audience. I want to thank all of you for tuning in this morning. And to our viewers, we think we are just beginning. We'll continue to bring more innovative as the technology become available to us. We'll continue to exploit, but you must keep in mind that because we are also limited in the resources, so we have put out a link where you can contribute maybe $5, $20, $10 to Gaza Media, so that we can continue to bring you all these amazing footages, entertainment, educational topic, health topic, to promote development and growth in our community. Karin, Mary, I thank you for taking the time to join in this morning in the US time. I know the network was not the best. They cannot see your faces right now, but we hope to do better next time.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I think Gillette is another call muted. Yes, dear viewers, we want to wish you a happy new year 2025, and make your resolution, whatever you wish yourself. We wish you again. I've been the host for this presentation, Ernest Kumba, reporting from West Virginia. Eastern Standard Time now is 11:44, and until then, you stay tuned for more amazing footages that will continue to bring you. Thank you again, and bye bye for now.
Asili digital. Naka Roland, strong picking. Amalay degele, you too life for degele. Amalay degele, you too life for degele. Bibi Bobby, Bibi Makati, it's too much, yeah. Mon ami, DJ to